Good morning, everybody. CW here. I'm going to do a little video response to our friend Marc Thompson, who's got himself a new revolver, and it's a pretty nice one. It's a Taurus 327 in 327 Federal Super Magnum. And it's an honest Super Magnum because the definition of a Super Magnum is a Magnum version of a Magnum. So the 327 is a magnumized 32 H&R Magnum. So in effect, it's a candidate to be called a Super Magnum. Kind of like the 357 Maximum was called the Super Mag as well by Dan Wesson, because it was a Magnum at one time. So I'm just setting up here to load up a couple of 327 ball and snake loads that I was talking to him about in a video response, as a video response. And I'm just getting another die body down here set up for 327. Getting it set up in the little budget Lee press so I can load some of these shells up. I gotta get a couple more things here, and I think I've got everything where I know where it is. Set up our press, set up everything. There we go. All right, we're all set up on the press. Let's get some cases out here. Let's get some bullets out here and some powder. We'll come right back. Stand by. Hello, everybody. CW here. All right, I got our parts together. We're going to start right from the bottom. Obviously, you need powder, primers. We're using some store-bought 315 32 caliber balls. I powder coated them just because I like colors. Didn't buy them recently. that 100 rounds there, 100 pieces are going to last you a long time. Second part of this is the birdshot. This is some number 12 that I bought a bunch of this years ago. It was, I think it was 5-pound bottles you bought it in. And I want to say it was like Sportsman's Guide when they first started. Somebody like that had it. I don't remember. And I couldn't find mine. And I was talking with a buddy online, and he said that he's got a bag of it and he'd gladly send me some. So that's what I wrote on here. This was a gift. It's number 12 birdshot. And it's perfect for small caliber handgun. I shouldn't even say small caliber. It's perfect for handgun shot loads. We're going to use a good old lead dipper. This one here is the 7cc. It happens to dump right at 65 grains, 62, 65 grains of birdshot, which is just about perfect. The 327 will shoot bullets from 60 grains. Really, that's super, super light. Those are made for the 32 auto, but you can shoot them 60 grains up to 150. I literally have a load for 150. I'll do a separate video on that one because some people may like that. I had a video on this before and it got a lot of views, so I'll do another one on that. But this one's about the shot and ball load. So we're going to use about 65 grains a shot, and we're going to use a ball. These balls run right at 49 grains. So let's just say 50. So 50 and 65 for 115 grains. If you know the cast bullets, 115 grains is right in the wheelhouse of what's normal. 115, 120, 112. I've got a really nice mold that drops 135 grain, but it's a little bit heavy, heavier than normal. I love it. It's a great bullet. But 115 grains is right in the wheelhouse for this caliber. and it's a really nice balance of weight. Gives you a good amount of shot, gives you a pretty good pattern. I will show you results of this load when we're done loading it, and show you the target, and I think you'll be pleased. We're going to use bullseye powder. This is a Magnum primer. I like to use Magnum primers all the time with 327. Frankly, 327, it's one of those calibers. There's really no reason to load it light. None. Because you've got a big, tall case. You've got a little bit of case volume for caliber. You've got a fair amount of case volume for the diameter of the bullet. So if you want lighter loads, use 32 long. Use 32 H&R. 327 is, you got the length, you got the volume, use it. If you want lighter loads, use 32 H&Rs or 32 longs or 32 shorts or 32 autos. That's the great thing about 32. All the calibers you can load in it. Anyway, so you're going to take advantage of the volume that you've got here with the length of this projectile. Of course, it's not a projectile, it's a group, but the weight is going to be 115 grains of a projectile. It's going to be 65 or so grains in shot and 50 grains in a ball. So we're going to start out making our wads. We need a wad to go over top of the powder. So we're going to drop 3.5 grains. We're going to do it with a little dandy. I don't know if it's in your view here, but this is the little dandy powder measure. It's an awesome little thing. It just has a dial in it with a barrel. I'll show you one. I got a bunch of them over here. It's got a barrel. Sorry for my reach. And it's got a hole in the barrel. And the barrel holes are just different sizes. So they've got a number on the end, and they've got a chart. And you can do it yourself and test it, but you of course want to check. But the chart will get you there close, and you just turn it. It scoops powder, it dumps powder. It scoops powder, it dumps powder. It scoops powder, it dumps powder. And you got this slot that only runs halfway, so that means that this can't spin all the way around. It can only spin half and half and half, and it works great. There's a number of other little measures that are like this, but this is the one I like. Get yourself one of your cases. I like to go just a little bit bigger. And with the 327, it's easy because this is a 32, but it's a small 32. It's really 31.5. So the bullets you're shooting out of this are going to be 312, 313, 314. You know, the larger size for cast, and the smaller 312s, 311s for jacketed. This is an 8mm Mauser case. You can use a 30-30. It's not bad. It's a little bit on the smaller size, but it works. But this 8mm Mauser case is about perfect. 32 a Winchester would be the same thing. Take your spaceship deburring tool and literally sharpen the case mouth, inside and outside, until you get that thing like a razor. And you'll be able to tell, because it'll literally, you'll feel it. It's really sharp. And then for wadding material, I've made a bunch of them here this morning. Wadding material, this is just a cartridge box. And I like this one because it's really plastic. It's got a nice sheen to it. It's glossed. But you can use a cereal box. That's about the thickness you want. A cereal box. You could use a plastic milk container. You could use a milk carton. That would be really good. A wax milk carton would probably be really good. And again, that's because it resists the heat and the fire from the powder burn. It's really not the best to be putting things in there like pure cardboard. Even this, I'll make sure that I've got the colored side down. Because you don't want that smoldering piece of char coming out of your barrel, potentially start a fire. So it's something to be conscious of. I wouldn't be overly worried about it unless you're in super dry conditions. But, you know, if you're shooting like in a hay barn or something like that where it's really dry, sure, you've got a lot of tinder in there that you could certainly, you could certainly start a fire with. So just be conscious of it. And then get yourself a block of wood and a hammer and just punch them out. And I do them one at a time, and I'll show you why. Give them a good smack, give them a turn. Make sure you cut it out. I didn't quite get that one cut out. There we go. And it's going to be inside your case mouth. Then you just tip it in and pull it out. And these are going to be slightly cupped when you cut them. So doing it with the side you want against your powder up makes them go in the case a little bit easier. So we're not going to do a bunch of these because I already have them, but you get the idea. I don't know how much I'm shaking the camera there. Hopefully it's not too much. My bench is pretty solid, so I don't imagine it's too bad. This is, I must have a bad piece of wood here. All right, there's another one, and there you go. All right, just pull it right out of there, one at a time. Just a nice little screwdriver. There's my hole. Okay. All right, let's get this out of our way. That served its purpose. You know what we got to do there. So we've got a whole bunch of them here. So we're going to take a case, regular 32 H&R, I'm sorry, 32 327 case. We're going to set it up to resize and deprime. We're going to get a new Magnum primer here. Can't drop this. You know how expensive primers are. All right. We'll see the primer. There we go. Now we're going to flare this case mouth because we still want to have ease of loading. So here we go. Resized, primed, ready to go case. We're going to get one of our wads ready. We're going to charge it with powder. We got powder in there. Take one of our wads. Again, glossy side down because of the way we punched it. It's going to be wanting to better seat, easier seat in this case. Now, I didn't grab it here, but you want something that's as close to diameter as you can find to fit inside a case. Well, that's about perfect. I don't know if it goes down far enough. I don't think it goes down far enough, but that's about perfect. Maybe one of these brass ones is better. That's probably good enough. All right, let's try that. The idea is you want to try and push that wad in flat and square as you can. And if you're doing it with something that's pointy and small diameter, it doesn't want to go in. So I'm hoping that you can see that. I got the camera set up here across the bench, and I can't really see the viewfinder. So you don't need to pack it on top of the powder. You know, don't use any real serious force here. Just make sure that it's square and seated down on top of the powder so the powder won't fall out, okay? Now we're going to take our shot. Get yourself a funnel. Take your shot. Get a scooper full of shot. We've already checked this, so we know it's just about 62 to 64 grains. And there it is. It fills it up. I'm hoping that you can see in there. I don't want to drop my shot out. It fills it up really good. Then take your ball with the little peg there up. Put it on top of the case. Put it back in your reloading press. Most of the dies are going to be able to seat this, even though it's so short and small, because you do have, let me back up. There's only a couple companies that make 327 dies. Most of the dies out there are 32 H&R or 32 Smith & Wesson. I have one set of 32 Smith & Wesson that won't work for 327, but they're probably made in the 50s. So 327 wasn't even an idea or a thought at the time. I have two sets of 32 H&R Magnum dies, one Hornady and one RCBS. Both of them work fine, seat 327s, load 327s perfectly. So, although I haven't tried them all, I would venture a guess that most all the currently made 32 H&R Magnum dies are most likely going to load 327s just fine. If you're really worried about it, buy the Hornadys because we know they work, or buy the RCBS because we know they work. If you want to buy Reddings or Lees or somebody else, maybe call the manufacturer. But I'm willing to bet that they're going to work just fine. So we're going to seat this ball. Now that little peg on there doesn't have to be perfect, but make it, make it up or down. It's better to be straight up or straight down. If you want a perfectly round, look of your bullet, put it down. Set your die. So you want to seat that ball about half its depth into the case. Now that one there, I went a little bit too far. I thought I had this set. I thought I had this set, but obviously I didn't. But it's not going to hurt. It's going to be okay. Better a little bit deep than not deep enough, because it's not going to get held. If you go a little bit deeper, it's going to give you a little better room for the nice crimp that you're going to put on here. You just want to roll that brass edge, that brass mouth, over the ball so that it holds it, so that there's no worry about it coming out, you know, falling out. I've never had these jump forward and recoil. There really is no recoil. 327 is not a recoiling caliber. It's got a blast to it. You better wear earplugs, and you might need doubles. But it's not a recoiling caliber, so there's not a lot of mass here, and there's really not a lot of worry about pushing this ball forward under recoil. So let's do another one. Go through it here a little bit quicker and see if we can get that ball seated where I like to have it seated. This is a little Lee turret press, the cheapie. I really like it. I just really like it. I didn't think that I would, and I've said a lot of bad things about Lee through the years, but I tell you, this little press really works well. All right, and we're going to get a wad. These are hard to pick up too, and just kind of seat it over top of the case, and it starts right in pretty good. Now that one made a liar out of me. Started kind of crooked, but I think this will, yeah, no problem. Just flattens it right out. Again, don't go crazy. You don't got to pack it like it's like you're packing a suitcase for vacation. Get yourself a shot cup full of shot. Again, it almost fills it up. It just leaves a little bitty cup there for the ball. Get your ball, set it on top. Back in the press. The seater, let's back this out a little bit more. All right, that's a little bit better. It's still a little deeper than I like, but again, deeper is better than shallower. And then we'll crimp it. And there we go. All right, I hope you appreciate it. Let's show you what it does. We'll come back. I'll show you my little shooter we're going to shoot it in. This is a sweetheart of a bird's head revolver. Stand by. I'll show you some. All right, here's what it does. This is the load we just loaded with the birdshot, 62 grains, 65 grains of birdshot, number 12s, and a 50 grain ball with 3.5 grains of bullseye. Loaded and crimped. Shot out of a little Ruger bird's head 327 4-inch barrel at exactly 5 feet. And you can see we got a nice dense 7-inch round pattern. You can see clearly that the ball is right in the center of the shot. What we've got here is a 3-inch circle I just threw on here just for reference for you. It's actually a little less than 3 inches, 2 3/4. Just for a reference circle. And that's how it works. And this ought to work really nice, you know, close rat in a garage, in a barn or something, or a snake in a hen house type of thing. Nice dense pattern, nothing clumped up. It's really amazing that it shoots as good as it does, being that it's a rifled barrel. But there you go. I hope you got some value out of this. It was fun making it. Let me know what you think. God bless everybody. CW out.